Hey everybody, welcome. Nettie Owens of Sapari Solutions, and this is Bob Graham, Breakthrough Solutions. I'll introduce you to him in just one moment, but first I want to tell you what we're doing here. I decided that there's some bits and pieces that we're all missing in the midst of all of everything that's going on. And so what I thought would be helpful is to bring on a few experts that could answer the question of what businesses need to know right now. So Bob, you're the first one up, and you get to answer the question about what businesses need to know right now about people. And the reason I brought Bob on is because his business is Breakthrough Solutions, and he coaches, trains, and researches how people interact with each other. He helps businesses build more effective teams, create more efficiency in their work and their business, and really the bottom line is get a better ROI on their biggest investment, which is people. So welcome. I'm really glad to have you here. And the first thing I wanted to do is just give you a chance to say hi, since I've done all the time.
Hi. No, that's great. I appreciate the opportunity, Nettie. You are a great influence on me. You've been so valuable to me in my business. And I enjoy any chance I get to be around you. So this is like a dream come true.
Oh, for me too, Bob. I think we probably have the same same support to one another. So I'm really glad to have you on and to share you with everyone that I know, and hopefully we can spread your message far and wide. So the first thing I want to do, because we only have a few minutes here, and I want to make sure that people get the meat of what they need. The first thing I want to do is ask how much value do companies really put in people? Like, are they paying attention to their people? And especially now, what are you seeing out there in the world?
Well, it's kind of funny. I would have said historically companies don't value their people the way they need to, but suddenly now everyone's working from home, and that changes the paradigm. And I think companies are seeing the value of their people when things are not getting done or when things are being done differently. And they're starting to have to retool how those people relationships are. So for instance, a lot of people in jobs complain to me about work-life balance. Well, suddenly when people are working at home, there's a necessity for work-life balance. If they have children that they're homeschooling because the schools are closed, they have to deal with them in different ways. So I think companies are having to understand their employees better and also be more creative in how, one, the technology works with their employees, and also how they manage employees. Because I think one of the unfortunate aspects of this pandemic is all of the company's weaknesses are highlighted in this circumstance. And we're seeing this over and over. If you don't have really good processes, if you don't have you will lose them. I think I flipped out there for a second. I'm back.
You did flip out there for a second. So if you don't have really good processes, and if you don't have really good, what was that you said?
Systems in place to manage people, to lead them. Those are starting to show up a lot in companies that I talk to, in terms of when I could see the person in the room across the hall, I knew what they were doing. But now when they're at home, I don't know what they're doing. And there's a trust factor. A lot of employers, a lot of managers, leaders don't trust that their employees are actually working. But research shows that people that work at home are actually more productive and more efficient.
I was about to say, I think a lot of companies are going to see this as an amazing experiment in what's possible. And from a productivity standpoint and an effectiveness standpoint, I'm thinking, this is amazing fuel for having businesses that don't have employees come in all the time. You might come in once or twice a week or once a month, depending on the position that you hold. Businesses could be saving tons on brick and mortar structures, on the ancillary services that have to happen when you have a big building. And what I was seeing right before this is that businesses were moving to these open workspaces that people didn't have the ability to prioritize and focus, and anyone could walk in and your space wasn't your own. And I was like, oh my gosh, this to me is a recipe for disaster. But if we could blend that with having your deep workspace at home, I just think that like rocket fuel, right? I really think that there's a lot of opportunity there. So question that, or I was just.
Can I throw something in there though?
Yeah.
One of the keys I think that's really at the core of all these changes is to be effective in any kind of work environment with people right now, you have to be willing to trust people. You have to assume the best until they choose otherwise, because so many employers, so many managers are fearful that they're being taken for a ride. Well, they say they're working 9 to 5, but they're really not. And so we're seeing that need for trust, and the scenarios you painted are going to require increased trust. And that's something that's really a challenge in many workplaces.
So any, like, I don't know, if you could give people 1 or 2 like starting points for developing trust, what would you tell them to do?
That's a great question. The first thing is get on a shared space in terms of what objectives are. So often trust is eroded when one or the other parties doesn't know what to expect. So looking for a manager, sitting down with the employee over a Zoom call or whatever and deciding, what are you working on? What are your priorities? How do they fit into what I'm doing? And then setting expectations for when something should be done in a shared environment. I'm a big believer in shared responsibility and setting goals, and then a manager or leader giving ownership of that to the employee. You go do it. How you get there is fine. If you need help, call me. But not micromanaging, not saying it's been 2 hours. Did you do what that doesn't work. That's not the world that most people, especially people who are professionals, don't want to be micromanaged. And so often in this climate, what I hear from employees is, I was getting calls every 2 hours from my boss. Or I had one employee in a company say, I had to give an hourly report by email what I was doing, and I never got a confirmation that they even received it. So these piled up for 3 days, and the person's like, why am I doing this? It was busy work.
Right. And I hear trust at the foundation of trust is good, clear, consistent communication.
Yes.
Where that road goes back and forth. So that's like, if I'm sending an email, I want the email response back. Trust that there is, a clear action. You set expectations of, what is going to happen if I do this step that you're asking me to do from both sides. If the manager is participating, if the employee is participating, what does a good solution or a good outcome look like for both of them, and having that good, clear communication.
And I try to get organizations to look at shared vision. It's so much easier to lead and be led when you have a shared vision. Not do this because, but do this because we are trying to achieve X. And your part is part of getting to X. People like to be on a quest. They like to feel like they have value. Even the lowest level employee in an organization can be part of that quest if they understand the role. Even the person that cleans the building, you say, oh, that person should know. Well, actually, your cleaning of the building means that when people can come back in there, they're going to see an inviting environment that makes them feel better about our company, which makes them more apt to want to share with us and buy from us. Oh, wow. And when we start looking at shared, and that's that communication. Shared vision is a big part of communication.
Well, we're just about to wrap up, and I've got one quick statement, and then we're going to wrap things up for today. These are really just meant to be segments that get you thinking about what could be done differently, parts that you might be missing in the big equation that are going to help your business survive and thrive. And what I was hearing from you in your last statement was really that sense of belonging. And belonging is the #1 reason why people stay at a job or move on. So if you can foster that sense of belonging with your people by providing a place that they feel like they contribute, that they're trusted, that they're valued as a human being, and they're part is part of a greater whole, you've hit the magic sauce. It sounds like it. If your company isn't feeling like you're in that magic space yet, I would invite you to reach out to Bob. He's got time on his calendar to talk to you, and the best way to do that, he shared with me the link, I'm going to pop it up here, is to go to breakthroughsolutions.co. That's not a typo. It's .co, and schedule a 15-minute call just to see. This is, I'm going to guess here, but Bob, this is just a chance to banter about like what's working, what's not working, what possibilities there might be in improving this idea of really investing in your people and using your people as the best return on investment that you could possibly have in your business.
And Nettie, I make a commitment to myself that anytime I get on a call with a person, they're going to leave with value. I always share something valuable. So if someone talks to me, they always leave with, oh, I'm so glad I did this, no matter what happens. I love to talk to business people, and I love to learn from them, and I love to share with them my expertise so they can be better. So I welcome anyone to give me a call, and thank you so much for the time today.
Oh my goodness, I'm so thankful you came on. Just now, I really feel like I've gained a lot of value from our conversation, and I hope that those of you watching also feel the same way. I'm going to be jumping on and doing these interviews every day that I can, so just keep your eyes out. We'll be talking about a range of topics that really answer that question of what you need to know right now. All right, thank you so much, Bob, and I look forward to hearing more. We'll probably have to have you come back on in a few weeks and see what new things are developing.
You know, I'm happy to come visit with you any chance I get.
Awesome. Take care.
Bye-bye.